Previously on the Ron Van Dam Show.
You have bombarded my mind with useless, petty crap. We can talk later. Perhaps in the kitchen while we're eating a sandwich. What the hell?
And now, today's episode.
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you very much.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Welcome to the program. It's the Ron Van Dam Show. I'm quite certain you know that. I just wanted to say it because that's what you're supposed to do. All right, that's enough. That'll be enough. Thank you so much. Wow, here we are again, just you and me, sharing one pair of pants. Wouldn't that be a wonderful sexual expression of love? Hey, honey, let's buy one pair of pants. I'll stick one of my legs in one of the pant legs, and you stick one of your legs in the other pant leg, and we'll be joined at the pants. What a wonderful show of affection. Also difficult to walk, but a very interesting concept. The one pants couple. It's reasoning like that kept me out of the big time. Van Dam, stop doing that kind of stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Don't do it. But yet... Well, the Iowa Caucus was what seemed like 72 years ago. It was on Monday. This is Wednesday, if I have my days straight, and often I don't. 2 days ago, they held the Iowa Caucus, and Monday night they were supposed to announce the results. Guess what's? Guess what's? Hey, guess what's? The final tally is not in yet. I know. 72% of the vote has been counted as of the time of this broadcast on a Wednesday morning. There's no other word other than pathetic. It's pathetic, just kind of. There are some words that are just perfect for everything. Pathetic is a great word. My favorite word used to be whatever, because it worked so well. Whatever represents complete disconnection. And I see nothing wrong with complete disconnection. I find it to be a vacation, to be honest with you. It's a vacation from caring. And we all need that every once in a while. We're supposed to care about so much. Whatever just kind of punches a hole in that whole caring thing. I love it. And it's also non-committal. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, whatever. It's just it's just a beautiful word. It should be on T-shirts. I'm sure it is somewhere. But pathetic is, I love that word too. It just sums everything up. Because so much of everything is pathetic. So much is pathetic. I overuse the word now, as I tend to do when I fall in love with the word. Where I share a pair of pants with the word pathetic. It's like you go to a restaurant and you order the special of the day, which isn't always that special. And the server comes over and says, "Are you enjoying your lunch? How's the food?" And you respond by saying, "Pathetic." The server doesn't know what to do. You can see their mind just go into a complete tailspin. You called the lunch pathetic? Oh my God, that's significant. No one's ever said that to me before. That's because you're pathetic. Oh my God, he did the double pathetic thing. It's just never done. Anyway, it's pathetic what happened in Iowa. I'm going to say something for you so that you don't have to say it publicly. I don't know what the hell a caucus is. I don't like the sound of the word. It just doesn't make any sense as a word itself. Caucus is just like, it's a stupid thing to have come out of your mouth. It's sounds and verbs and consonants that don't belong together. Caucus. What is that? So Iowa has one. It's the first political race of the primaries, so to speak. And here's what I understand it to be. A bunch of people who work at the library or in a school get together, usually in a school or in a library. They sit around in a circle like they're going to have some type of intervention, and they just try to agree or disagree on, in their little circle, who the best candidate would be. And then they put it on an app to be reported, and that person wins the caucus, of which we don't even know what a caucus is. Apparently there was like a 17% turnout by people to go to the caucus. That's why who the hell wants to get up and get dressed and go to a school and talk about this stuff in a circle? If you said to people, could you just vote? Could you just go down to a place, to a polling place, and just vote for somebody? Okay, I can handle that. Or let's have a caucus. Let's sit around all night, like for 5 hours, and discuss things in a little circle. No, I don't have the time for that, and it sounds stupid. So people don't go. It's not representative of anything for two reasons. One, because not everybody shows up, and there's no reason really to do that because it's stupid. And the other reason is it's Iowa. People in Iowa don't sit in a circle and discuss things. I don't know what they do. I've never been to Iowa. I understand it's a great agricultural state. I think there's one black person in the whole state. I'm not sure. Does our show go to Iowa, by the way? Not anymore, right? So forget the Iowa caucus, whatever the results were. It's just, I don't know what a caucus is. Don't discuss it with other people because they don't know what a caucus is either. Whatever it is, it's pathetic. Whatever. According to the caucus results, which make as much sense as the word caucus itself, Bernie Sanders did extremely well, or as Donald Trump calls him, the communist. That's going to be the brand. Should Bernie Sanders win the Democratic nomination, Trump's already got the nickname for him. It's Communist Bernie. That doesn't play very well to the American public that just says, ooh, Bernie Sanders, communist? Uh-oh. Let me tell you something real fast, just as an interjection, as I talk politics just a bit this morning on a level that I think you can understand. Let me tell you something about this, about elections. Nobody votes for somebody. Everybody votes against somebody. Now, that's the way it is. The only exception was Obama. People tried to vote against him, but his personality was loving. That's the thing. You could have hated Obama's policies as a Republican, but you had to admit, this guy's cool. This guy's freaking cool. He's walking around flipping pennies in the air and just everything just slides off his back. He's just cool. He brings people together, and he's just like, hey, let's be cool about this, everybody. I mean, how can you buck cool? He even smokes cigarettes every once in a while. How cool can you get? When cigarettes aren't cool anymore, he's still smoking them in the bathroom in the White House, I think. His wife was cool. It was just cool. He gave great speeches. Oh, my God, whether you agreed with him or disagreed, he gave great speeches. took an economy that was in the toilet, and I'm talking about the toilet flushed, and he turned it around, and somehow, with his people, he was able to put the economy back on track. And every year that he was president, all freaking 8 of them, the economy got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and grew by higher percentages and higher percentages and higher percentages and higher percentages. Then Trump became president. The economy continued to grow thanks to Obama, but grew at a smaller pace, 2.4, 2%. Obama, 8, 9, higher. So, yeah, we can get into that some other time, but because obviously this is what I'm talking about today. And please hang on with me, please. I'm trying to make you a person here. Caucus, stupid. No more caucuses. I don't care what state it is. Dump the caucus. It's stupid. It's pathetic. Let's move on to primaries, where people go to a place, they vote on a piece of paper. They take one of those felt tip pen things, fill in the circle, and then they put the card in a machine. That's freaking voting. The caucus in Iowa, I don't know if you know this, was done on an app. On an app, ladies and gentlemen, and the app failed. The people who were sitting in the circle at the caucuses could not put their votes in or their agreements in because the app failed them. They couldn't sign on to the app, etc. They're still 2 days later trying to figure out what the results are. It's an embarrassment from hell. Not for the Democrats, just for Iowa. So, I don't know. Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, you can't say his whole name because you probably are mispronouncing it. But they call him Mayor Pete because they can't deal with his last name. He's doing rather well. He's a very intelligent young man. Probably would be a fine president with no experience. But let's see. Do we vote people into presidency, into the White House with no experience? I think we did. So the precedent has been set for the president. So Buttigieg could very well do this. He was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, which to me, it's like running a country. But he did really, really well as well he did. Joe Biden, not so much. I think Joe is just being, he's a great guy, and I think he'd make a great president, but I think he's starting to lose it, even more than Trump is. I mean, Trump has lost it. He is a certified nut, but he's still got the energy enough to make the nut part really bad. Biden is like a gentle nut. He's like the grandfather who, you love him, but you got to start putting blankets on his lap. All right. So the New Hampshire primary is coming up rather shortly, and that's like a real vote thing. America, I'm Ron Van Dam. Listen to one thing from me, please. You don't do elections online. You don't do elections through apps. Stop it. You're stupid. You're stupid. That can be hacked. It can be manipulated. You don't do things through an app. You do it by having people go to the polls, taking a pen, filling in a dot, and putting it in a machine. And that way you have backup in case you have to recount the votes on paper. Let's stop this technology crap, because if it's hackable, it ain't usable. All right. Let's get on to subject number 2, and that would be the State of the Union address. I don't watch the State of the Union address because I cannot stand under any circumstances to see that disgusting man talk at me on a television screen or otherwise. I can't look at his face. I can't hear his voice. It grades on my nerves. It makes me angry. So I avoid it like the plague. So I didn't watch the State of the Union, but I did watch the things that were significant that happened. 2 things happened that, one, I understand, the other I don't. At the end of the speech that went well over an hour by this President guy, Trump, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Nancy Pelosi is standing in the background or sitting in the background, in the House of Representatives where the speech is given. Speech is over. President stands up, is about to leave the pulpit, and in the background you very clearly see Nancy Pelosi take the copy of the written speech and tear it into shreds on national television in the background. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Thank you, Nancy. You did what I would do. Nice job. Seriously. That's number one. Number two, apparently the Congressional Medal of Honor, or the President's Medal of Honor, whatever you call it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The President's Medal of Freedom or something. Freedom is the word. Was presented to an individual, and that there during the State of the Union, that individual was Rush Limbaugh. I'm going to say something that you will not enjoy, but I'm being honest about it, and I'm saying it because you probably won't. Rush Limbaugh, through the decades, has been a conservative talk show host, which is fine, but he has been one of the major proponents of lies through his entire career in an egotistical manner, very similar to that Trump guy. He has lied about people. He has desecrated them. He has affected their careers by making up lies for political reasons and being very caustic and ugly about it in a public situation, syndicated radio for decades and decades and decades. He recently was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I believe that was a diagnosis, I'm quite certain it is, which is somewhat of a death sentence at this particular progression of that disease for him. I don't wish that upon anybody. And I was willing to leave that subject alone by saying the man entertained people, represented the political views of a lot of people, did it in a very disgusting manner, but he's got stage 4 lung cancer. That's just horrible, and as a human being, you know that's just horrible. But it wasn't left alone there. Donald Trump publicly, during the speech, stops the speech and gives Limbaugh the Medal of Freedom. The cameras turn to the gallery where Limbaugh is standing there, and Trump's wife, Melania, whatever her name is, puts the ribbon around Limbaugh's neck. Limbaugh, of course, is very honored. The Medal of Freedom, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he definitely was free to say what he wanted. But at the same time, and here's where I'm going to be really careful, because you're dying doesn't give you the Medal of Freedom. I think that's what was happening. It was a show business move on Trump's part, certainly, in order to make this a tender moment. The man, I'll put it a different way, and this is the more accurate way. Dying from cancer doesn't make you a wonderful, respectable individual when you have maligned people through your entire career in a very caustic, fib-like, lying manner. The man has spoken trash about women and Democrats simply because they are women or they are Democrats. And it doesn't make you a better person to have a disease. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to go any further than that. That's all. Anyway, this is the Ron Van Dam Show. I am responsible for what I just said. All right. Thank you so much. We have a great guest coming up rather shortly as well. Oh, and it's funny. It's just funny that I said rather shortly, and I'll tell you why. My guest has a disease herself. She was born as a dwarf, but the dwarfism was the result of a disease that she had. She's barely 4 feet tall, and she has physical disabilities because of this disease that caused this this growth problem that she has. She's written a book. It's called Looking Up. I get it. She's short, looking up. I understand. But it's also a book of inspiration. We're going to talk to her live right here about the book that's being released shortly, as I understand it. Again, I didn't mean to say that on purpose. I really did not. Okay, fine. How are you, by the way? You know, I've been just talking, and I didn't really, I didn't ask how you were, and I apologize for that. I like to keep this show very, very personal. I do. How are you? Oh, great. Are you scared of me?
A wise man once said, to truly live, you must do one thing each day that scares you. Congratulations! You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show. Scary, huh?
Michele Sullivan joins us now. She has written a book called Looking Up, and she's become a very highly acclaimed author. And she's the first female president of the Caterpillar Foundation and the smallest woman at the largest earth-moving manufacturer in the world, as they say in my copy here. Tell me about the Caterpillar Foundation, first of all.
Sure. The Caterpillar Foundation is the philanthropic arm of Caterpillar Inc., and the company Caterpillar is the sole funder of the foundation. And it's a global foundation in terms of where its investments are. They invest where we have facilities around the world. And they're interested in investing in workforce readiness and basic human needs. And it's a very large, influential foundation with a great team behind it, and the company's very generous with their support.
Wonderful. Now, you wrote the book Looking Up, and what prompted you to write this book?
Well, it's interesting. For so long, people have said, Michele, you've led such an interesting, inspiring life, and you should write a book. And the last couple of years, as I was winding up my 30-year career at Caterpillar and all the experiences I've had, and especially with the people I've met working with the foundation and those in extreme poverty, and who I looked up to, all walks of life, and it had nothing to do with how much money a person had or anything like that. They inspired me for different reasons. And so I think in today's world, we've lost some of that. And so in my book, I talk about how perspective can really give you guidance into, what you really see, and that we all have value. And so that really drove me to write the book, is to show how I am inspired by other people.
And you're an inspiration yourself, because you have obstacles in life that you had to overcome, some of them real obstacles, some of them just perceived by other people, really, that you had to deal with. But at the same time, didn't stop you.
You're right. I was born with a very rare type of dwarfism called metatrophic dysplasia. And so I don't get around very well, and I'm about 4 feet tall. And, I too have been looked over many times in my life and still do today. But I think everyone has experienced being overlooked or underestimated. And the book is really about that, and how you can turn your perspective to make it advantages, and also see that in other people, see their value. And so you're right. I have obstacles just like everybody else. And I talk about that in the book, and I talk about others' obstacles and how they've overcome them. And, takeaways that we all can use, regardless of what the scale says, or a ruler, or, anything else. We've all been underestimated.
The funny thing is, actually, the thing that bounds us all together is that every single person walking the earth has a major obstacle. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's medical, sometimes it's mental. but a lot of the times it's yourself actually not even letting yourself go forward because of something you perceived, and that's your hang up. So you've kind of stopped yourself. But everybody's got something. That's what I've learned during this talk show. Everybody's got an issue. And the issue doesn't have to be negative. It's just something that holds you back. Go on.
What's interesting is, and I talked about this in my TED Talk, to your point, a lot of it you can't see.
Yes.
You don't know what all of my obstacles are. You see one my size.
Yes.
But you don't know if someone's going through money problems or they're having infertility issues, any type of problem.
Correct.
And the majority you can't see. And, we have to give people the benefit of the doubt if the person at the grocery store didn't smile as much as you thought they should have, or someone didn't look at you in the eye. Something could have really happened that day, or they have a personal, obstacle themselves, then you can't see it. And it's very important that we support everybody because you don't know what happened that day.
Yeah.
To your point.
Does the book go through your own experiences specifically?
It does a little bit, yes. It starts off with the day I was born, quite a few decades ago.
23 decades.
Quite a few.
Oh, I thought you said. I thought you said 23 decades ago. I thought, oh my God.
I'm not that old yet.
I'd say that was an accomplishment.
Yeah, there you go. And the doctor, and someone being born with dwarfism in the 1960s, it was very, very rare. And the doctor looked at my parents and they said, "You take her home and treat her like everybody else." And I think my parents would have done that anyway. But it's always nice to have that affirmation. And what's interesting is about 12 or 13 years later, that same doctor who had retired had looked up my parents and called them because their child had given birth to a baby with dwarfism. And he wanted to know what we found out. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And this was before, the internet where you could easily find people. And so, again, he saw past that. And he said, you treat her like everybody else. But in the book, it does talk about and has pictures of things that I've been through. And then it also talks a lot about people around me. You said we all have obstacles, and a big piece in my life has been my kitchen table. And I talk about that. Whenever you have a really, especially big issue, it could be something very successful as well, but when something really comes down on you, don't you have just a few people that you tell first? And I call it my kitchen table. And
that's nice.
You talk about it and you come to terms with it before you open it up to what I call the village, which is a little bit bigger circle.
Right.
And I think it's important, to your point, that we are part of someone else's kitchen table and their village as well. And so I talk about my village and my kitchen table in the book.
Good. Well, that helps us create that larger circle all the time of acceptance, and that's a nice parable there. Yeah, some people don't even have a kitchen table to talk to because they don't even get it. So you have
to go find someone.
Yeah. When I do interviews, I always find that when books like this are written, all of a sudden the author finds out that they've connected tons of people that weren't connected before. And in your case, not specifically to dwarfism or anything, but we're just talking about people with obstacles. They all of a sudden,
that's right.
They come out of the closet, so to speak, in the sense, okay, someone's talking about this. That's cool.
Right. And, asking for help is a strength, not a weakness.
Yeah.
And the most successful life we can live is an interdependent one, not an independent one. And what I mean by that is we thrive because of others, not in spite of them.
That's a good point. Wow. You're pretty deep there, Michele. You're pretty deep.
But, there's funny things in the book. I talk about funny things and, I put some things on the table. I'll put it that way.
Cool. Very good. The book recently came out?
It comes out February 25th, and you can pre-order it on lookingup.com. And for each book that's ordered on lookingup.com, HarperCollins Leadership is donating a book to a non-for-profit.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes, very nice of them.
Yeah.
Lookingup.com.
Yeah, very nice. Lookingup.com. You're going to have a book party?
I will have a couple of book parties, one for my village and then one for that will be open to the public, of course. And so it's very exciting, and a lot of people helped with the book. And, the whole idea is to inspire people, as you said, to grab your obstacles, and there's different ways to deal with it, and that we should help others deal with their obstacles as well. It's all about perception.
Yes,
do you see an opportunity or do you see a problem? And that's your first line of sight, actually.
You're absolutely right. It is all about perception. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Okay. She's Michele Sullivan. Pick up the book, Looking Up. You can find it everywhere, I'm sure. Lookingup.com if you want to check that out. Pleasure speaking to you, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you for your next book.
Thank you. Make a great day.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that'll do it for me today in a big way. I always say at the end of the show that to go out and make it a great day, and I wish you peace. And it sounds like just a tagline, but it's not. It's really not. I really believe that. I really believe that life is your perception thereof. It's only what you see through your eyes, and your eyes alone. I know you care about how other people see you and other people's opinions and stuff. Yeah, they do make a difference, but your eyes are the most important ones. So it's all how they affect you and what you do with that. So you go out and make it a great day or a great evening, whatever is left, or a great tomorrow. Because that's your deal. That's yours, man. That's your life. Nobody else's but yours. Make it a good one. Make it one that counts, that makes you feel good and other people feel good. If that's the end result, fine. But I do, amongst all, wish you peace. That was very heavy, wasn't it? Did you enjoy my heaviness? You almost bought that, didn't you?
Whatever.